Hello and welcome back to America Yeah. We are broadcasting from our headquarters here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the former oil and gas capital of the world. And just to give you a state of the network update, the price of Bitcoin is just under 48,000 at 47,900. The market cap is 900 billion. And we are broadcasting from block height 671,868. Welcome back. It's been a few months. The sats per dollar, that is the subunit of Bitcoin, is just at 2,084. So get those sats while you can. There's not too many of them left.
We have from my old card.
Oh yeah, Chris. Hey, how's it going over there?
How you doing? So, what are we going to be talking about in this episode?
Well, we have a menu of stuff to talk about. We are going to talk about Tesla buying Bitcoin. Everybody and their dog wants to talk about that. We'll talk about the $1 trillion market cap of Bitcoin, the Human Rights Foundation article on Bitcoin, the very exciting real Wall Street protest, and we will launch it off with the shitcoin of the day. Christian, what's our shitcoin of the day?
Dogecoin.
Yes. Now, why is it a shitcoin?
Why is Doge? Well, they make it rain about 10,000 of these suckers every minute. The block reward, Bitcoin has one. It's like every 10 minutes. We're at what, 6.5 or no?
Yeah, 6.25 Bitcoin every 10 minutes.
6.25.
Contrast
Bitcoin.
that with Doge, which is
10,000 rains of shitcoin every 1 minute, and with no end in sight. It's an infinite supply currency. So I like what's amazing to me is so much of its emergence is because also of Daddy Elon spreading the word.
Got to give some reps to Daddy Elon. We'll come back to him later.
I just got to imagine he's playing some 4D chess with us, like trying to distract from the fact that he just put, like, his company just bought $1.5 billion. Perhaps it's a way of him saying, no, like, this was the best decision because these things exist. So if you want to think I'm crazy, you don't think I'm crazy enough. I'm going to advise you buy Doge. If you really,
it was a foil because he started talking about Bitcoin on Twitter, and then I think his lawyers were like, "Whoa, hold on, we still need to buy a few more." And so he was like, Doge." So again, we don't hate Doge too much. We do have a soft spot in our hearts for it, but it is a shitcoin.
Tell me more about this Tesla business. I'm an Elon fan myself.
So Tesla, their number one profit item over the past 3 weeks has not been the Model Y. It's not been the Tesla truck. It's not even been their ever-beloved Model 3. It's been Bitcoin. How much of their profit is comprised of Bitcoin?
So again, it depends. It depends on like what the price of Bitcoin is this very moment, which right now it's taken a bit of a hit, but we always know it comes back. But
I don't know. I'm looking at the curve right now, and it's still looking like it's on top of a mountain.
Oh yeah, today's dip of say 5 to 10% doesn't even register on the chart. But no, I mean, so if you look at Tesla's net profits of last year, which were somewhere around $700 million, their purchase of Bitcoin of like $1.5 billion, which represents a little just under 10% of their balance sheet, that since they acquired in late January has produced close to their entire net revenue of 2020, which is interesting because like today Tesla's down a whole lot. Mm-hmm. But those of us who drink the Kool-Aid say, well, it's not because of their Bitcoin purchase. It's just because Tesla is...
I mean, the stock market in general is down today.
Yeah, the stock market, everything's down today.
Everything's down today. So you can't blame it on Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's not Bitcoin's fault. But
it's a pretty ballsy move by the wealthiest man in the world, probably second, probably will be the wealthiest tomorrow. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
It's insane times, insane shifts happen. But pretty incredible sentiment he started among the billionaire crowd.
Yeah,
putting his hat in the ring.
Yeah, and what's really interesting about that is whatever you think of Elon, his purchase of it and his talking about it opens the Overton window. Now you and I and Chris we can go out on the street and we can talk to people about Bitcoin, and no longer do we sound like the only crazy people in the world. because we've got Elon on our side. Everybody,
It's like, you know, Elon did it right. So you saying you don't like Tesla products? You don't like Apple products?
No. When did J.P. Morgan Chase jump on the Bitcoin wagon?
gosh, put me on the spot. Well, you know,
Sorry about that, guy. That's not the script.
Jamie Dimon, the eponymous CEO of J.P. Morgan, in 2017, famously hated on it. He said, "This is worthless. You should not touch this. You'll lose all your money." And now J.P. Morgan is rolling out financial services to custody and allow their clients to purchase Bitcoin. In fact, their own internal analysts have projected prices for Bitcoin in the six figures. So, yeah, Jamie, you should have bought the dip.
They're getting a little jealous looking at Grayscale over there. Grayscale being the largest trust holder of Bitcoin, managing just acquisition for a lot of private clients.
Yeah, short of there being an ETF in the U.S., Grayscale is probably one of the easiest on-ramps for people to get exposure in their 401k or something. Yeah, that's had incredible performance over the past year.
I'm just amazed at Elon's I mean, we all know Elon can be a total troll.
Yeah,
He's got the 3 a.m. texts of just obviously he's high, taking these, but this $1.5 billion purchase, he's in interviews so far tried to maintain that same level of, oh yeah, this is just something I did when I was blitzed one night because I just bought $1.5. But obviously this had to be approved by their board of directors. He cannot directly issue a $1.5 billion buy order.
No.
So I just think it's hilarious that he's kind of keeping up the image of this is, just me being wacky old Elon when it's like, no, this is Tesla as an entity, really seriously throwing crazy cash.
Well, yeah, and it goes along well with Tesla's brand of we are into disruptive technologies which have an asymmetric, scalable future.
Mm-hmm.
And we were surprised that they announced it this early, but I mean, I'm not complaining.
Nope, I can't imagine a better company to set this precedent. They're, if any of them were going to do it, Tesla makes the most sense.
Yeah, I mean, who's next? Apple, Microsoft? Which next big tech or FANG company?
Samsung.
I think that whoever's watching this needs to comment below with their prediction of the next big Bitcoin buy.
Yeah, Samsung is going to be
Samsung
will be our next big name, I think.
Amazon? Who knows?
I think Amazon, they are too reliant on a system of debt. They want to run up that credit card. They want to sell you their credit services. Them trying to usher people into a financial system of ownership, which is a big difference between Bitcoin and dollars, right? Is just the fact that you have to own Bitcoin. Therefore, you have to limit your purchasing power, to what you actually have. That doesn't really jive with Amazon. So I'll be interested to see, when they're faced with, okay, this emerging financial system is upon us, but we still need to get people in debt so they buy more stuff that they can really afford. How do they manage that?
The heck if I know. I think when Apple buys Bitcoin, that'll be a big deal. I mean, they're sitting on $80 billion of cash. It might be more than that now. But if your $80 billion of cash loses its purchasing power by 20% this year, as we expand the monetary supply by another several trillion, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
As Elon said, who's not even he said he's not a Bitcoin believer, but he said Bitcoin is dumb, Fiat is dumber.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, speaking of Fiat, one of the fun things we like to do here at AVP is hate on Fiat. Fiat, of course, is money issued by a central authority or a government.
Are you saying if it's not Bitcoin, it's crap?
Yeah, but Christian, you've got a nice little reminder every time you swipe your debit card.
Oh yeah, can you grab my Cash App card? It's sitting on my desk here.
Oh, this is really cool. If you check our social media, you'll see it posted around. We do have a close up of this plastic card here.
Ready. We've got 1,000 points. Whoever links the image on American Bit Power.
Yeah.
Why am I Scottish from now on?
I found it.
We-
I've got it.
Yeah, Chris is only working for ABP as long as his green card is in effect.
So,
I
so here we are.
almost
I've got
changed our
the
rating in one sentence.
Yeah.
I've got my Fiat trash on tap right here, ready to be liquidated into Bitcoin.
You want
I
to
don't
do
know
a
if-
close up on him?
yeah. Let me
Yeah.
s-
Yeah, you
You
can
got-
with Square or with Cash App, you can like
here.
order a debit
Over here,
card.
Christian.
aha.
There we go. There
There
it
we
is.
go. So we
Fiat.
got Fiat trash, courtesy of Cash App, which, by the way, happens to be a great way to buy Bitcoin. So
I
at
know.
least they're doing one thing. They, two things I have to give props to Cash App for. One, customizing cards so I can fiat currency, and two, allowing us to exchange fiat currency into Bitcoin very seamlessly. And yeah, Charlie, you recommend Cash App to a lot of
Yeah,
people.
we're gunning for that Cash App sponsorship. So you can reach us, at cbspears@americanbitpower.com. But no, a lot of people ask us, how do I buy crypto?
Say Cash App one more time.
Cash App one more time.
There we go.
No, a lot of people ask us, like, how do I buy Bitcoin? I don't know what to do. I don't know when to buy it. And we're not in the business of telling you specifically when to buy it, except my tagline is, the best time to buy Bitcoin was 5 years ago, and the next best time is today. But then how do we buy it?
Yeah. I mean, one thing I've heard you riff on repeatedly is if you look at historically, no one who has held Bitcoin, over a period of 5 years or more has ever regretted buying it at any point.
Yep.
So, and we see that trend continue, just as we still very much believe Bitcoin is in its infancy. It is something that 2% of the world is estimated to have a clue or like actually own any of it. People who actually have any understanding of how it works and what it means, I mean, that's probably no greater than 5%.
Hardly. I mean, I would even say the people who really understand how Bitcoin works is actually fewer than the amount of people who actually own Bitcoin.
That's true, actually.
Because I mean, heck, even in the ABP office, and American Bit Power is, our company. Even amongst us, we are often mystified, even as experts in this, at new stuff we discover about some of the inner workings of Bitcoin.
The scale of just cryptocurrency and the amount of development and new technology that comes through is just so utterly massive that keeping tabs on everything is impossible. So focusing on Bitcoin itself and really understanding Bitcoin, that is a feat, and it's something that we sort of share the burden on, of like being able to supply a holistic image of how all this works and how you navigate this world. And so it's been very interesting as we enter this bull cycle. We're getting lots of new inquiries. How many phone calls have you gotten today, or text messages have you gotten today?
I get anywhere from 3 to 10 people reaching out per day, asking about Bitcoin.
So speaking of these people reaching out, the most common question I get from all of our investor, all of our team members that outside of the core group that understands the Bitcoin is, can the government stop Bitcoin? Now, what's funny is you literally posted a link that was the title. So I'm like, you're obviously have an answer.
That's a great transition, Chris, because this is related to what the Human Rights Foundation, and this next topic on our list of things to talk about, what the Human Rights Foundation, or rather the chief strategist of the Human Rights Foundation, has been talking about a lot lately, Alex Gladstein. He, and as representative for the HRF, talks a lot about Bitcoin's use case outside of the United States or these Western countries. Because you or I, it's not super, we don't need Bitcoin today, or at least it doesn't feel like we do.
We've had access to bank accounts our whole lives. We can't envision a world without them. But this, Bitcoin's value proposition, to us, it's mainly, being able to exchange finance in a anonymous fashion, a expedited fashion. The advantages to people without banking systems is a whole other realm of benefits.
Yeah, and so we strongly recommend you Google "Can the Government Stop Bitcoin?" Alex Gladstein, Human Rights Foundation. It's a very fascinating, well-written piece on it, and it goes into detail examining like various scenarios where governments could attack or challenge the Bitcoin network, and provides a reasonable, measured response to each, saying, well, ultimately we think it's unlikely, but here is how this threat or these events could play out. And its thesis is this. Alex's thesis is that Bitcoin is a necessary tool for the large part of the unbanked world, the 2 billion people in the world who don't have access to a bank account, and the many millions of people who live under regimes which are oppressive or despotic. So, you can try to make money off of Bitcoin or speculate on it, but there is a bigger narrative here, and we are helping build and reinforce this network at ABP, aren't we, Christian?
Absolutely, and it's really incredible. Just from my own like personal perspective of like having gone to some of these just horribly corrupt governments. Like one, for example, is South American country where we're at and we were helping fix. It's amazing. You have subsistence farmers who are riding on horses, but you know what? They have internet and they have a smartphone.
They got a smartphone.
They now have a secure store of value at their fingertips. Given the opportunity to use it. And so like the implications for it to making the world a safer, more fair place and, bringing this level playing field of economic freedom, like it's tremendous. It goes to me so far beyond just like, hey, I'm going to buy this and it's going to go up and make money. It's like, no, this is truly like the democratization of money. And it's incredible.
It really is. And we will, on future episodes of this podcast, we will talk about, the broader decentralized and crypto asset space. But we want to, resurrect this podcast by focusing mainly on Bitcoin, because that's where all roads lead to Bitcoin in this space. If you are mining or trading Ethereum, you are closely related to and attached at the hip to Bitcoin.
Absolutely. But Bitcoin is very, for all intents and purposes, it is the Coca-Cola of the cryptocurrency world. And a lot of currency, it's almost the tide that lifts all boats.
Yeah.
It establishes a serious precedent for how a lot of the regulation that will be applied to all cryptocurrencies will follow. So really, if you are into cryptocurrency, and even if Bitcoin isn't your favorite, you better believe you're keeping your eye on it and you're watching how the world is responding to Bitcoin, because it affects you if you're in the Bitcoin realm.
So we can say, you can dabble in Doge if you want, but you gotta have a Bitcoin position, or else you're not even in the game. You may as well be throwing darts at a different dartboard.
Which, often you get people all the time ask like, well, I feel like I've missed the boat on Bitcoin, and for that reason, I'm going to choose a more nascent, earlier cycle currency that, oh, well, it's at a few pennies. Okay, walk us through some of the logical problems with that approach.
Well, this is a tale as old as time. For OGs like us, we have had this conversation many times over. And Bitcoin always feels too expensive to a lot of people. There is this fallacy called unit bias. That is, something is more valuable or has more potential to increase in value because it has smaller units.
Mm-hmm.
So people may look at a cryptocurrency like Polkadot, which I think is pretty cool. But its price is, $20. Like, oh my gosh, if Bitcoin's at 50,000 and Polkadot's at 20, I'm buying an asset that's going to go to $50,000. And I think people are blinded by these small market cap cryptocurrencies.
Right.
We're not saying some of them don't have value. It's just
don't expect them to have the headroom that Bitcoin has breached. You look at, market cap 900 billion on a currency like Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And you expect some totally archaic currency that it's like if it was to achieve what you want it to do. If it is to 100x, its value would far exceed Bitcoin. Well, wait a minute there.
How much money is there in the world? How much money could possibly flow into something that wants to like Dogecoin, which wants like dentists to have some cryptocurrency? I don't really understand.
It's like, what
that.
is the market valuation for stuff like that?
Bitcoin is the measure of all value in the world. So how much is that? There are Ethereum, the second most popular and largest cryptocurrency, is this like application layer. That's its proposition. Internally we run the gamut on perspective of Ethereum, but a lot of people feel like they missed the boat, but we believe this decade will be dominated by a Bitcoin narrative.
Where do you see like Bitcoin in 5 years? Throw out those price projections.
Oh gosh, I will be reluctant to give specific price predictions, but I think 6-figure Bitcoin is.
Can I be the bold one?
Know it? Go for it.
Because so Charlie and I had this great time discussing, and I'm the one who wants an anchor, and he's the philosopher. I feel like philosophers, if they find an answer, they need another question. It's nature of the beast. But Charlie's information has guided me in my nerdiness and my spreadsheets. I think in 5 years we'll be at 7 digits. Is that crazy, Charlie?
It feels crazy, but I would jive with that. To be conservative, I would say by the end of the decade, which again, that makes me a bit of a black sheep to a lot of people because it sounds impossible. But here we are at $50,000 Bitcoin.
$50,000. Absolutely. It's a strange realization, even to those who have been literally embedded in the industry over the past 5 years. Like to be where we are at today is just mind-boggling. It's hard to like wrap our mind around just how massive this thing's become. Because my first exposure to Bitcoin was probably around $100. Is like I was dealing it pretty frequently.
Yeah.
And to know like the amount of value I was holding at that time.
Even a lot of the OGs, a lot of the people who've been in it forever, who have been calling these 50,000, 100,000 on the price levels, are shocked seeing it in reality. We go to sleep and we dream of it. But then to wake up and see, the price on your phone, and you're like, "Wow, I'm not dreaming. Pinch me."
And there's a lot of a lot of us in the Bitcoin community felt this price was coming. We didn't anticipate it as early as it is. A lot of that we believe is pushed, and that timeline has really been accelerated by recent events.
Oh yeah, we can get into this little rabbit hole, but Bitcoin was always going to hit 50,000 eventually. But why? It's as if the past year and the pandemic took the what would have been the next 5 to 6 years and just condensed it. It's like It's like the pandemic was like a time machine to the future.
How much of Bitcoin's value do you think is tied to waning confidence in the dollar?
Some of it. I think a lot of it is more tied to the waning confidence in other fiat currencies around the world, because we think in terms of the dollar or the petrodollar, backed by the United States export of crude and our military and our rock solid economy. But the reality is, a lot of the world, a good third of it, their currency collapses every few years, basically.
Right.
So a lot of these people are saying, well, Bitcoin, however volatile it might be, is a better hedge against my particular corner of the world than anything else.
Which, I honestly believe that puts the American psyche at a disadvantage. To when you have never experienced a Venezuela or been a Venezuelan where you woke up one day and your savings account was worthless. Years of your efforts are nothing. You have never. Many of us who live in the United States, few of us are alive who have, especially who are considering Bitcoin as an option
Yeah.
or alternative, have ever experienced or had this second thought about looking at that piece of paper in front of you and like, oh, now that is nothing, that is worthless. A wheelbarrow of cash won't buy me a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
But it's a very real problem that happens hundreds of times throughout history, where countries hyperinflate their currencies for varieties of reasons. So that is starting to become a real concern.
And so if we want to tie about how Americans, or rather developed countries, are looking at Bitcoin, it's kind of a nice segue into our own little weird like protest against the establishment, most recently emblemified in the GameStop saga.
Yes,
this is a very fascinating topic.
It's really incredible to see, because here you have Wall Street Bets, a community that has dismissed Bitcoin and banned it as, frankly, a joke.
Like, I remember Wall Street Bets in 2016, 2017, they banned talk about Bitcoin because us Bitcoiners are so obnoxious. They wanted to focus on the real meat,
the real money,
YOLOing your net worth into stocks and being $100 million in debt.
And it's ironic because you see the system kind of realize, and their eyes open to the casino that they truly are in. That, hey, the second you found a way to make money in this space that frankly you don't own or control, your rights and privileges are totally ripped from you. You are thrown out of the house. You look at Robinhood, where all these Wall Street Bets guys, were able to pump up a stock and triggered a short squeeze on these hedge funds, and all of a sudden, the portal to the retail customer, we're just going to allow you to sell stock.
Only the red button works. The green doesn't. Oh no, the green one doesn't work anymore.
Can't buy it anymore. Wow.
We say the Bitcoiners really resonate with this GameStop saga. It's very much like a populist protest of kids on their smartphone. And that kind of most of us.
Right.
But it doesn't matter that you found a new way to count cards. If you're in the casino and they own the building, they can stop. They can turn the tables
They
off.
change the rules whenever they want to. As soon as it doesn't matter, the house always wins. Any casino you go into, any way you figure out their game, if you start succeeding at it too much, they change the game. And I think that was a rude awakening for many of your Wall Street Bets kids, where it's like, no, this system is completely rigged against you. Even whatever, and this will happen throughout history, whatever method or whatever way you find to make a profit, the institution is going to bury you.
And we Bitcoiners will welcome you with open diamond hands.
Exactly.
Well, it's funny because like the idea of the hodl meme in Bitcoin maps very well onto the diamond hands meme in the Wall Street Bets world. And so there is a bit of like, the Arnold Schwarzenegger like arm shake image here, because there's a lot of the sentiment and ideas behind this map very well. And so what I've been seeing, and I think others of us at AVP, in like the Wall Street Bets subreddit, people are trying to talk about Bitcoin. It's still kind of censored, but you're seeing, people talking about it by proxy, saying, oh, this Bitcoin mining stock, it's going up. I wonder why.
Marathon Patent Company, a Bitcoin mining entity that produces a meager, by comparison to their market cap, $800,000 in revenue monthly.
Yeah,
they are currently valued over $4 billion.
Yeah, we will be talking about that on a future podcast.
Yeah, that needs to be its own, because there needs to be an explanation of the macro and economic impact that is. Because a lot of people hear, oh, somebody makes $800,000 a month. That sounds like a lot. Not for a $4 billion company.
That is a pitiful performance. I mean, considering the scale of the resources at their hands to deploy. So,
but it might have something to do with it. They are building up their mining operation.
I'm sure that they better be.
This is a deep rabbit hole, and we will get into it. I'll just tease that. Let's just say 2 podcasts from now, we'll do a deep dive.
We've got a question from an audience member.
Oh, what's the audience member say?
When the prices of, I'll put this on the screen.
Okay. When
the prices are going down, should I do anything? Buy, sell, mine? I'm assuming buy miners. I don't know.
Well, we are in a bull market, and what's the catchphrase during a bull market? Buy the dip.
Have
I mean,
some
we are
dip.
not. This is not financial advice. I want to strongly emphasize that.
CYA all the way.
Yeah, but but
this was just today. Like, just it was green yesterday. It was green the day before. And we have a red day, and people react. Should they?
yeah,
And
well,
it's pretty incredible, like just the effect that these highly volatile periods of time have, especially on ABP's business. In that, wow, we actually benefit from this volatility as it increases transaction volume and increases the trading fees that we accumulate. So it's incredible to see, but it's also incredible to look at just the past few weeks of this bull cycle, how we've seen repeatedly these dips and these rebounds. The cycle we still feel is very much on.
yeah, we believe we're still in the early innings of a very long game. With regards to buy the dip or whatever today, we're not in the business of predicting what it's going to do next month, but we are in the business of predicting what it's going to do over the next decade. And you're going to wish you had bought Bitcoin sometime in 2020 or 2021, whatever year it is.
And so
this is part of this is the nature of the beast, that it swells and then it comes down a little bit and then it swells again. It's like waves.
Yeah. If you're looking for a specific strategy, imagine, accumulate a little Bitcoin every week, set a recurring buy on Cash App, and just don't look at it. Just set it and forget it. Just like that cooking thing.
There's all kinds of inventive ways to stack sats.
Yeah.
Fold app.
Oh man, we're gunning for the Fold app sponsorship.
We'll talk more on Fold app once we can throw up that.
Do we need a whole Fold app episode? Or can we just do it?
We'll hold for that. But in short, Fold app is a card that like many cards have cashback options, but its cashback is paid in Bitcoin. And we'll talk more about how that works. It has all kinds of fun little gamifying options, but that's an episode in of itself.
Speaking of stuff we're going to talk about in future episodes, we'll add that to the list. We didn't get through all the stuff we wanted to talk about today, but we do value your time. Make sure to find us on all social media, from LinkedIn to TikTok,
Facebook, YouTube,
Instagram,
Twitter. There we go.
Find us anywhere. Anything is streamed. We will be putting this episode up on most places. Right into the show, right into miner@americanbitpower.com, and we'll get back to you. Hope you tune in again next week about this time.
Take it easy.